Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm doing very well myself. I will be talking about how the day went and some thoughts along the way, if any feel like necessary to share. Let's get started. So, when I woke up this morning at around 9:30, I felt very indecisive. I didn't know where to take the direction of my day. I ended up just walking into the living room and sitting on one of the chairs and simply just staring into space, kind of hoping that there would be some push or pull or some cosmic force that would get me to get off my derriere and get going. But I didn't really get any of that. Just a long and empty sound of silence. So I decided, I wonder what I can possibly do to get the most out of my day. So I decided I would do something different. And that was that last night, before going to sleep, I actually subscribed, but of course immediately unsubscribed, to Claude, the chatbot that is competing against the others, like GPT and Gemini. Why did I subscribe to Claude? Well, the big reason was because I was asking Google's AI to give me an objective view on what is considered the best chatbot that's currently available. And apparently Claude Opus 4.6 was considered the top pick. So I went on my Claude app on my phone, found it was only accessible if I subscribed for $20 a month. I decided to only subscribe for 1 month and immediately unsubscribed because I know how these AI chatbots and systems are. You can't really choose one because it's a wide, vast network of different chatbots, and they're each improving consistently as the months roll on. Meaning, while one chatbot might remain superior, the other one might take its place. So it creates an uncertainty about sticking with one particular chatbot when you know there's another one that's going to surpass it in the near future. So that's why I decided to do chatbot hopping. It's because why invest more than 1 month in a certain service if you know for a fact that it's going to be dated very soon? But at the time being, oh, that's weird. Anywho, I'm gonna have to clean that up. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, there was something coarse in my mouth, and I wanted to see what it was, and it looks like some white material that I couldn't pinpoint, so I decided to just throw it away and wash my hand immediately after. Well, I just washed it in the sink. Anywho, moving along. So I thought I'd give Claude 4.6 a chance. And one of the first questions I decided to ask this apparently most intelligent as of this recording moment chatbot was, hey, so I'm feeling a little directionless. I don't really know where to take my day. Give me some input or ideas. And I described my situation of sitting in the chair just looking off into space and not really knowing what to do. And the chatbot essentially said, it sounds like your mind is in a paralysis mode where you are unsure of whether you should like do something that'll push momentum on your productive tasks, or if you should just, passively consume content on your phone. And more likely than not, your mind will gravitate towards the easier option because it's the easier option. And your mind will very much appreciate that because minds don't really like working hard unless, like, maybe there's some stakes involved. So, yeah, when I heard that, I was like, that makes sense. And then suddenly got pretty hungry. So I decided to drive off to the nearest fast food restaurant and pick up a double cheeseburger with fries and a Pepsi. Diet Pepsi, of course. When I arrived back home, I was wondering if I could finally drink a straw. And so I asked Google's Gemini if that was all right because it'd been 12 days since my tooth extraction. I was wondering if it was safe to continue drinking from a straw, or not continue, but start drinking from a straw. And it said yes. So I decided to try it out, and there was no pain at all. I think I'm finally in the clear. So yeah, I guess everything is back to normal. The mouth's still healing, but there is no pain, so that's good. So when I took the burger out with the fries and the ketchup, I decided to go to Den and watch a Red Letter Media video about it was Best of the Worst episode or number 31, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I could quickly look into it really quick if I wanted to make sure I'm not spreading any misinformation. So let me see really quick. Should take less than a second. Yeah, 31, I was right. This was a very funny episode. I really enjoyed it, especially with the voice actor Josh's inclusion. I thought he added a lot to the other teammates, and the funniest thing about the episode, my favorite moment, was around the part where they were talking about the body blade, an exercise device that was being advertised as the middle video they were watching. So apparently the phone number to that website was still up and running. So Josh, there were actually two Joshes in there, Josh the Wizard and Josh the voice actor. The voice actor Josh put on one of the best George Lucas voices I've ever heard. Like, he literally sounded exactly like George Lucas, and he basically was calling the body blade company and telling them, "Hey guys, it's me. I'm George Lucas, and I saw your instructional video, and I thought it'd be a really good thing, a really good idea to include that in my new Star Wars movie." And he just went on it and is seeing the other crew members for Red Letter Media try to hold their laughter. And that's the Rich Evans even added to the joke by pretending he was George Lucas's wife and saying, "Hey, George, put that phone down." And he's like, "Not now. I'm trying to get ideas for my new Star Wars movie." It was the funniest thing ever. Probably my favorite part from the whole episode, if I'm being honest. Yeah, and everything else was mildly amusing, but nothing really reached the peak, which was pretty much in the middle of the episode. The beginning, there were some funny observations made about the 3D Goldilocks and the Three Bears VHS, and the whole 3D camera effect that was used to make things look like they were popping out of the screen, which apparently seemed to have worked, but it used a special Polaroid 3D effect where you had to have a lens where one side darkened your view and the other lightened your view, and the effect would really only work if the screen was in constant motion. If the screen was still, then the image would not look 3D at all. But the fact, but the fact that they were able to get a 3D effect without having to use that blurred effect where they need to make the what do you call that, the cyan 3D with the red and blue like different shades and make it like look all messy, but have it look like a normal video, but it somehow still has the 3D effect, seemed pretty impressive, I must say. Nah, it's just a shame the technology didn't seem to go anywhere, because the technology seemed to heavily rely on the fact that the camera needed to be in constant motion in order for the 3D effect to be maintained, which is very impractical for any kind of storytelling that's not trying to be gimmicky. It was a very fascinating and interesting insight into that world, and I really appreciated that. The world of 3D effects. So, pretty cool. The last one was like about Mr. T, and I liked the title. It was "Don't Be a Fool or You'll Be Someone Else's Fool," I think was the name. If I'm not mistaken, but I think I might be wrong in that. It was something like that. It was basically Mr. T being like an encouraging like coach to like kids and telling them, "You guys can do this, respect your mom, treat others as you would want to be treated." Yeah, wholesome stuff like that. And Mike Stoklosa was basically like trying to be the good trade, saying, "I don't really like Mr. T," and it's like, I mean, I understand why he was so like influential. And everyone around him was like, "Come on, Mike, he's a good guy. Who wouldn't like Mr. T?" And he was like, "I just don't see it." And then the YouTube comment section were what was very funny. Someone said, "I like as soon as like there's someone who shows like the least bit of dignity and respect to other human beings, as well as like a positive outlook on life, shows up on screen. Mike Stoklosa is repulsed and repelled by it." Like, I think that was what the comment was. It was a joke, but I just thought that was really funny. Like the Red Letter Media audience has a hilarious sense of humor, and they're one of the reasons why I always go back to their videos to watch, and like reading the comments is half the fun, especially after watching the whole video. Well, anywho, after I was done watching that video, I decided to craft a plan with Claude. I wanted to see if I could create a block schedule where I could make it so I could do my brain jam for a little bit, do a little break afterwards, then brain jam again, then another then chores and things like that. So I tried to craft this like highly tuned plan. It was like around like 1 p.m. I thought, oh, I've got plenty of time. I could probably catch up on my brain jam and my art, right? So I tried to do my best to make that happen. And it did craft a plan for me. And the way it did it was extremely impressive. It had check marks and specific times labeled, and even a completion little like bar that when you tick something off, it would increase to 1, 2, 3 until it reached the very end. So it was kind of in a way very motivating to see that bar fully filled up by selecting the task and completing it. I did end up doing around 70 minutes of Brain Jam Extra, which is a lot better than the last 2 days where I probably at most got around 15 to 20 minutes done throughout the last 2 days. Which is hilarious and also very sad, because in the previous 2 update videos ago, I said, I believe that I got these 3 days off in a row so I could dedicate my time to really finishing and honing my brain jam craft. And I didn't really dedicate. I mean, it was like, I didn't really do that because I just got lazy or distracted or life got in the way, and I just had to do what I had to do. So, all that to say that, it's a lot of time things don't really go according to plan, and you just gotta roll with it and take it as it comes, I suppose, and just congratulate the small victories instead of holding yourself up to a impossible standard, I suppose. But I was able to do a lot of different rough looking storyboards of me as a cartoon character going shopping in a store and getting different products that were supposed to be like they were supposed to indicate what I'm trying to teach myself in the art world. Like, for example, like character coconut chunks, storytelling sauce in one container, and then another container when it comes to learning stuff like art, like value veggies, for, value, dark to light, line lentils, because, line work is also important. Then perspective peas, because knowing how to draw perspective is really crucial to making your art look believable and for good storytelling in your art. And then color theory, so that way you're able to make your images have like colors that really resonate and speak to an audience. So yeah, I was like, this is funny. Like the way I'm doing Brain Jam and trying to demonstrate my point in the video by doing these little storyboards to put into the video is very indicative of what I'm even like, what I'm was describing in the video to begin with, where like you need like visual aid that helps the information stick to your brain better. So that way, when you refer to it again and try to connect the pieces, you'll end up having an easier time understanding what you're trying to do. So that way you can have a more informed mind going forward on the subjects you are studying. So it's hilarious and also really neat in a way that I'm kind of already doing that with just making Brain Jam Extra anyways. It's like really meta. Like it's like the original Brain Jam is about like just a character on their way of trying to learn how to do art. Brain Jam Extra is supposed to be behind the scenes of me learning how to make the main channel. And this, what I'm doing right now, is actually me like picking my brain, like editing Brain Jam and trying to figure it out and putting all the pieces together. So it's all kind of interconnecting, interlocking, and trying to come to the best possible conclusion I can. And every single little piece of this project that I've worked on since the beginning of this year is really just a huge learning experience from beginning to end. I think that's really awesome. I'm really, really enjoying it. Yeah. But anywho, eventually, my sister called me in to show me her cat who was chilling out in her room, and she actually played binaural beats with cat purr sounds to calm her black cat named Calm Me Down. I hung out with her and the cat, and I pet the cat, and I really did appreciate the peaceful and serene presence of Calm Me. The fact he was just so chill, so in tune with peace and feeling comfortable, all of that was just incredible. And it really made me feel like at peace and calm myself to the point where I wanted to do a little bit of rest. And so that's exactly what I did. I went into my room, I put on some blinds, and I listened to some theta waves, binaural beats. Where it was like 4 hertz on one side, 7 hertz on the other side. And I just tried to get in sort of a meditative and restful state, just to sort of see if I could get into a deeper awareness, deeper state of consciousness, while at the same time just getting a good rest. Because even if I didn't get to that, I could at least get a few Z's and maybe have an interesting dream, I suppose. Of course, I didn't have any interesting dreams. The most I could say is that I had a deep and restful time that I really liked. Eventually, I got up, and my mom had arrived. I greeted her. She greeted me, and then I remember we um that she was just stopping by, and she was gonna go off to do some more work. And so when she left, um I decided to continue my brain jam session. So I continued. I have to be honest, I had a much harder time the second time trying to figure it out than I did the first time trying to figure it out. I don't know what it was. There was a lot of resistance in my brain of trying to continue my brain jam project. Part of me wonders if it was because like I had I had taught my mind to be restful, and so now that I'm now trying to force gears back into being productive and working on this, project that I've been chipping away at. It annoyed my brain because like, oh, I thought you wanted me to rest. Now you want me to work on this complex project. What the heck, bro? What do you want from me? And so I had a lot of resistance, and it was much tougher the second time doing 35 minutes than it was the first time doing 35 minutes. But of course, I was able to get some work done, which did feel rewarding. And then I decided as reward I would go grab some donuts. So I told my sister, she asked me if it'd be cool if we could go to a close by pet store to pick up some crickets for her pet, Spider Cheeto. So I agreed and we left. We drove off until we finally arrived at a pet store location. Before we got the crickets, we decided to simply just do some window shopping and look around the area, just looking at all the different animals that we could see, from cute birds. We would try to get them to bob their heads, but they wouldn't do it by bobbing our heads. Oh well. We then saw gerbils who were adorable, hamsters who were cute, all manner of different reptiles, cats, which, you know what I think about cats. I love cats so much. And yeah, the cats were cute. There was like some orange ones. There was some like, you know, big fat ones. There were some thin ones. It was a lot of fun. And then we saw some fish before eventually my sister got some crickets, 5 crickets for her pet, Spider. And then we went to check out. There was another store nearby the pet store we decided to go to pick up the donuts. And when we were in there, I needed to use the restroom. When I was done, we decided to walk around, look at what they had. They were selling bananas. We got the smallest amount pack bunch we could get, which was 4 bananas. And then, because my sister wanted those, she ended up getting those. I just wanted to get the donuts, and then we just kept on looking. My sister said that our mom wanted spumoni because we were apparently going to be having spaghetti and meat sauce for dinner tonight. So we went to look for some spumoni in the store. They did not sell any, sadly. But in the store, they did have a Nintendo Switch 2 on display, and I do love my game consoles, mostly because I just find them endlessly fascinating. I think they're fun when you know how to use them and, can get some cool experiences. And I had never held a Switch 2 in my hand before. Technically, I did hold a Switch 2 controller in my hand at another store, but it wasn't the actual handheld device itself. The handheld device was on display at the store we were at, and I gotta be honest, I was kind of blown away by the size of the thing. It was like, dang, I didn't know it was that big. And then on top of that, the pixel density was really incredible. The display was 8-inch, 1080p, and my PC screen is a bit bigger than the Switch 2 screen. I'd say maybe 12 inches perhaps. And so the pixel density isn't as great. So having 1080p densely packed into the display was a sight to behold. It really did look really crisp and nice looking. Like, it honestly blew me away with how sharp and detailed the image looked. Very cool. I decided to play a game that I had been eyeing, but I've been holding off on getting a Nintendo Switch 2, and the major reason why is because I want the Switch 2 OLED, and I'm hoping that Nintendo will eventually release that because I love OLED screens. I think they've got perfect contrast. They can also do proper HDR, and they just look really beautiful. Like, and especially on a display like that, that would be incredible to have. The Switch 2's display itself, it still was really nice, but it's an LCD display, and well, it gets the job done. It's something that I'm not like, you know, passionate about. I'm like, I want that OLED experience. But I did play Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I have to say this was a lot of fun. Although I didn't really get to properly experience it fully, the game did say like allow for a 15-minute sesh, but I knew my sister was like there and I didn't want her to keep her waiting, so I only played like about like 4 or 5 minutes. But I did give the controls to my sister to see what she thought, and we both agree. We thought it was a lot of fun. In terms of the destructible environments, like I thought the haptics were really nice. She didn't say anything about the haptics, but I thought they were cool. And it just my favorite thing is every time you pick up like a banana in Bonanza, you hear a voice that says "banana," and that always brings a tickle of joy to me. I love that. But anywho, after we experienced that, we went up to the front to purchase our items. I grabbed a Mr. Beast peanut butter bar because I did watch a Binging with Babish where he said the Mr. Beast peanut butter cups were surprisingly really good. But he said that he felt like the ingredients were downgraded in the Mr. Beast cups he had. But to be fair, those were in Mr. Beast Feastables. So perhaps the standalone ones that weren't prepackaged in Feastables were actually really good. So I decided to purchase one along with the donuts, and then before we left, I decided to have a peanut butter cup, and I have to say it was really good. I really liked it. I thought it had a really nice flavor, and it was so good that I was actually excited to have more when we got home. As we drove off, we passed by different restaurants that my sister said were really good, or they had good reviews. One was an Thai restaurant that smelled really good. We could smell the food nearby. It smelled delicious. And then another one was a taco restaurant that apparently was described as a staple in the location. So definitely some places to check out in the near future. Eventually, we arrived back home where my mom was making the spaghetti sauce, and my sister and my mom got into a discussion about who could make the sauce, and my sister wanted to ultimately make the sauce. So my mom decided to go and show me how to clean the pool floor because there was a bunch of leaves there by hooking a net onto a pool like floor suction device attached to a hose where water would help build like a certain pressure that would suck leaves into the net. It was a pretty cool device. It was actually kind of fun to use. And then I cleaned the pool vacuum, the Quantum Dolphin one. Sprayed the inside and the outside, popped it in, turned it on, and it started to go to work. And then my mom needed to go to a Bible meeting, so she left and I scrubbed the floor of the area. As I was doing that, I was listening to an Area 52 podcast between UAP Gerb, a UAP-focused YouTube channel that does a lot of research on the intricacies of the whole phenomenon in terms of the military aspect of it. and the different contractors supposedly involved in UAP retrievals and things like that nature. And then I decided to have a cup of coffee with the donuts and a peanut butter cup. And I decided to watch the latest Simeon Jimmy video about the Medea movie, the latest one. I forget what it's called. It's about like the grandpa in the Medea series taking his grandson on like a road trip. And yeah, it's really it looks like a really interesting movie. I don't really want to say much other than like, wow, it seemed really edgy, and like it seemed like there was some certain things, like certain political points of view that Tyler Perry has that he really wanted to inject in the movie that made it interesting, I suppose. But yeah, after that was all good and done, my middle sister showed, greeted her, and my youngest sister also greeted her, and she and my middle sister and my youngest sister are going to a con, and my middle sister needed to get things ready by getting the prints and packing them away in the proper way, and she was wondering if she could have our help, and we both agreed. So we all got together, we started packing her prints away, and got into all manner of different discussions. And yeah, it was a pretty good family time, I would say. Eventually, when we were done, I told our family friend that my mom wanted ice cream, so she said she would take me. So I decided to go out, and my car was actually parked behind her, and she wanted to come with me. So I decided to move the car out of the way, and she drove us both to the nearest store. We went there. The interesting thing was there was no electric cart. Our family friend wanted an electric cart, but there was none that we could see. So she decided to instead just use a regular cart as like a walker instead, as her decision. So we went off. She wanted to get a few things. I wanted to get a few things. I couldn't find any Spumoni ice cream, so I got Neapolitan ice cream, Dreyer's variety, and Tillamook cookies and cream ice cream. And I also remembered, if we're having spaghetti, we should have some garlic bread. So I found some Texas toast garlic bread that I thought I could heat up quickly in the air fryer. So I grabbed that and from the freezer section, and then I bought everything I needed. Our family friend bought everything she needed. We were about to leave. There was, interestingly, a cart full of like bread and different things. And I thought, oh no, someone left their food there. What do I do? I guess I'll bring it into the store and see if the employees could, I don't know, do go backs on it. So I did that, and then there was a lady who actually like I went to the front of the area. There was like a guy who was working in the front there. And I told him about the items, and he was like, all right, we'll see what we can do about that. Then there was a lady who popped by and said that she actually intentionally left those groceries out in that cart so homeless people could go and grab them. And I was like, well, all right. I suppose if that's what you intended, I'll just put these items out in the front again. And she was like, all right. And the older guy who worked at the store also was like, okay. So I put them out in the front. I went into our family friend's car, and we drove off. As we drove off, I explained the whole situation to our family friend. And so, yeah, that was settled. When we arrived, my mom also was there. We greeted her. I heated the garlic bread in the air fryer, although I should have heated it for a little longer, and I should have flipped it halfway during cooking. But because it was a little soggy when it was done, although it was bursting with flavor, like it was really tasty. it could have been a bit crispier on the outer edges. But yeah, we had the plates prepared and we had a delicious spaghetti and meat sauce meal. Our family friend even fried some tortilla chips that we had with some homemade guac sauce. So that was pretty good. And my mom stated that there was this new movie that her coworker had advised or had recommended called Begonia. So she suggested we could watch that. We all decided to check it out. So we went off to the den. We found the film. We watched it. And then my mom wanted to have some ice cream, so we all had ice cream bowls with the spumoni, the cookies and cream. I had 1 scoop of spumoni, 2 scoops of cookies and cream. They put some chocolate sauce on it with banana and crumpled up ice cream cones on it. It was pretty good. And yeah, when we're done eating that, when my middle sister was talking about the plans they had when they arrived at the con with my youngest sister. They are both leaving tomorrow in the morning, by the way. Yeah, we were updated. We were excited for them. My family friend our family friend even decided to pre-purchase some prints from her before leaving for the trip, which was really nice. And then we started the movie, and yeah, Begonia. This was one crazy movie. It was basically like this really unstable and like extreme conspiracy theorist guy who clearly spends way too much time on the internet in like conspiracy fringe circles that are to the extreme. And he believes that there's like this woman CEO who is an alien who is responsible for all the problems on planet Earth. So he decides to kidnap her with the help of his what seems to be autistic cousin, so that way they can get answers from her about like when her species will arrive and if she can beam them up to her spaceship so they can get answers and all that stuff. So yeah, and then the movie just takes all manner of insane twists and turns that just become more hinged and crazy as the film goes on. And honestly, that's as much as I can like say about it without spoiling it. And I honestly don't really want to say any more about spoiling it because this is one of those films, rare films, where I immediately like gave it a 10 out of 10 after I was done watching it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really crazy and interesting. And I highly recommend anyone out there, you to watch it. Because this film is just so unusual and so crazy and has just, it's just like, you never know where it's going. But yeah, check it out. After we're done watching it, we actually were originally planning on just stopping in the middle and then continuing the next day. But we were so into it that we continued watching the whole thing from beginning to end. It was that good. After we're done, we said goodnight to each other. I took my vitamins. I brushed my teeth. I took my prescribed mouthwash. And I decided to make this update video. The time is currently 2:11 a.m. Tomorrow I go to work from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And tomorrow morning, my sisters will be going to a con. Hopefully they have a huge success. So yeah, it's going to be really fun, really exciting. I'm hoping for the best for the both of them, especially for my middle sister, since she's the one who did all the art and the prints. But also for both of them equally. All right, well, I will be going to bed right now. I bid everyone watching this video a good night, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and see you around.